So I was listening to this episode of Joe Rogan. That's how all the best conversations start. And it was with this computer scientist. I forget what his name was, but he was talking about simulation theory. What do you think of that, bro? I always thought that was
Oh
super
yeah.
interesting.
Like living in the simulation. Like what's his name? Uh, the black dude, right?
The black dude? I don't know what you're talking
What's
about,
his
man.
name?
I don't.
What's his name? It's the math guy, the scientist. He's super smart.
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, or like the Matrix. I always thought it was super interesting.
I feel like we haven't come to a point where we can really say like, yeah, we're living in a simulation because we can't like really like do replicate everything that we know about the entire like planet we have today. Like we can't replicate what's going on in the human brain. We don't understand it fully. We don't. There's so many things we don't know. I feel like it would be hard until that's possible to say we are in a simulation. Like yes, it's fun to joke about it sometimes, but I feel like on a more serious note, I don't believe we're living in a simulation. Everybody lives in their own like kind of simulation at some degree, but I think that's just like the perspective. It's like your own vision of things, your own subjective reality, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super interesting because, um, like, yeah, we can't do it, but if it is possible, at some point we could,
Yeah,
right? And then you have to start to blur the lines between what is considered real, right? Like I pick up this AirPod case right here. I say, okay, that's real. But you take a microscope, you take an electron microscope, and you zoom in, and you zoom in, and you zoom in. Eventually, you just get to particles, right? Atoms.
yeah, yeah,
But the funny thing about atoms is they're made up of energy, right? The electromagnetic field. It's why this pen doesn't go through this AirPod case because of the
right,
heat.
yeah, yeah,
Then you go further into that, and the harder you try to look for matter, the less you find, right? Take an electron, right? You would
interesting, yeah,
assume an
yeah,
electron's like a little basketball, but in reality, an electron is just a point of energy. There's zero distance from one side of the electron to the other. Because if I don't know how to explain this in the best way, but the deeper you look for physical stuff, the more you find that it's all just energy and information.
mm.
I think that's really weird.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like the universe that we're like currently living in is very much based on like the energy of things, like how they like connect with each other, radiate with each other. Like the magnetic field, like you said, uh, definitely plays a part into like everything because it's not just like physical matter. It's also like how your brain is gonna react with another people, like another person's brain, and a same similar like emotional wavelength of like electrons. It's gonna be like kind of like when you're like giving a vibe check to someone, like when you're first meeting them for the first time, like there's definitely like you're getting the energy of that person, and you're like checking the vibe of the energy, and you're being like, is this person like kind of the person that I want to be around with or not?
Yeah, it's definitely weird because if reality was a simulation, what difference would it really make? You know, if we keep digging further and further into how things work and what matter actually is, and we just find that it's all information. If we created a computer simulation that was just information, then what difference would it even make? Like, what is real at that point? And I think it's really interesting what you said about like the energy of people.
Mm,
I don't know. I mean, if we are in some sort of simulation, then maybe our brains are outside of it, like part of a higher echelon of reality. Which I
It's
mean,
weird, yeah.
yeah, but that's what religion is all about, right? Simulation theory
Mm.
is just a religious theory, right? All of the religions tell us that this world is just a construct, right? It's fake. We were put here by a higher power, and our purpose is to live good lives so that when we die, we go back to base reality.
Mm.
I don't know, it's just super interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just clinically insane,
I mean, it's just like,
but at least I look good.
yeah, yeah. At least you've got that. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like to me, it's crazy that we've come to understand so many things about this, like this entire like history of like the human race, and there's still like so many things we don't understand. Like like one of the subjects that like really interested me like not too long ago was like the fact that there's like a huge part of like human history that's like deleted, like it doesn't, like there's no record.
I know. It's crazy, bro. Especially like when you look at how fast technology is
Yeah.
increased. Okay, so think about this, right? 2000 years ago, we had horses and carriages, we had big stone castles, swords, which is pretty epic, but 1500 years go by. Still basically at that point. 200 years go by. Okay, there's some improvement, but by like 1700,
Mm.
it's still pretty much the same as it was 2000 years ago. And then over the past 300 years, the Renaissance, right? Leonardo da Vinci, all those guys, boom. And then we went from horses and carriages in 1899
Yeah.
to supersonic jets and spaceships in 1999. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like scientists say that humans have been around for some 200,000 years, right? So what were we doing before then? Doesn't seem reasonable that we were just living out in the grass for all that time.
I feel like the that's like the main like root cause of that is basically it's surely like the difficulty of the problems that people were like solving on a day-to-day basis became more and more complicated. And like let's say like there's like if we take Europe for example, like it's probably the most advanced and like historically active country because there's so many layers like built on top of each other. Like you can like go to a city and you can still see like the ruins of like some Roman like building there, and it feels like since it went like so fast in terms of like evolution and like change and like actually like doing stuff like completely revamping the entire infrastructure of people. I feel like when some problem arises, people are gonna like that. Like you get a few different kinds of people that can actually like solve the problem. Like let's say Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, all of these like massively different people, right? Like they did like great things in their own like fields, like respectively. Like they said, "Oh, we're just gonna take everything." Like this, I want to see the entire Mongol Empire straight from one end of the fucking horizon to the other one. And you get these guys who like come up with like they see like it's like a vision. They have a problem and they want to like they create the problem themselves, and then it leads to a whole like um evolutionary standpoint from there. Like if you can look at like you can also look at like World War I, World War II, like you can see like how much faster weaponry advanced in a short period of time because people were having problems like constantly like, oh, we need to defeat the enemy and we need to be better than them, and they're doing the same thing, so we need to constantly improve. And so I feel like when everything changed from like you said to like from the horse to the car to the spaceship, I feel like that's kind of the vibe that was going on because you there was the Cold War as well, So there's definitely like a succession of events that made it so that we are where we are with what we are today.
Yeah. I think, I mean, even if you look at like the pyramids, bro, like
Yeah, yeah.
who the hell built those? We don't know, right? There's no organic material in those pyramids, so we can't really carbon date them. We say they're 4,000 years old, but we don't actually know. These things are perfectly machined. Every single block is unique. They all fit together like a perfect puzzle. It's like what kind of crazy situation were people in that made them build that and then the technology was just gone? We can't even build those today.
Like the funniest thing with that actually is I was hearing recently like one of the Joe Rogan podcasts where some archaeologist was on there and they were talking about the lost city of Atlantis. And they were saying like, oh, well, maybe it's in the Atlantic Ocean. It just sunk to the bottom and whatever. But like, there's like more and
Wait,
more
was this about
evidence. Yeah, with
the
the,
reshot structure?
yeah, the reshot structure. Yeah,
Dude. Yeah.
and it's like it feels like yeah, it was a part of like one um North African empire that used to like be there and like take care of all of the entire thing because apparently the Sahara Desert was a fucking jungle at some point, like I don't know how many years ago,
Oh yeah, it
and
was I
yeah,
think like
so
5,000 years.
yeah, so like honestly, it's like so many things like piled on top of each other, and it feels like even when you're playing like a video game or you're watching a movie or you're like doing something that somebody like created artistically, like came up with something, like a story or whatever, like a fantasy universe, whichever you want. At the end of the day, I feel like that's like somebody thought about that and just decided like, yeah, we're gonna do it. Like this is what we're gonna do. Here we go. Like nothing is gonna stop us. We're gonna see this through. And I feel like that's like the mindset of the people that made the pyramids at the first. Like it's very similar to what I just said about the great conquerors of old, like Alexander the Great said, "Oh no, fuck the Persians, we're going this way and we're taking everything. Like nobody is stopping us ever. We will find a way or make one. There is no like giving up. There is no quitting." And I feel like those are the kind of people that have the mentality to like actually change things, right?
Yeah. And it's crazy because there's like these people
Elon
that come
Musk.
along every 100 years, every 200 years, like Alexander the Great, Napoleon. I like I don't I mean I want to say George Washington because I'm
Yeah,
American, but
yeah.
I don't know if that's like a thing or but like these people come along every couple 100 years, Genghis Khan, and then they just destroy everything, take over everything, define entire periods. It's just wild. Like there's just a guy, right? He's probably not more intelligent or physically stronger than any of us. Just decides one day, you know what? I'm gonna take over the entire world, and then does it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Alexander the
And
Great at
it
23
really just goes
he
back
ruled
to like
all of Europe.
the podcast where like I think it was an interview where Elon Musk got interviewed by Lex Friedman, I think, and he asked him like, yeah, when you're building a rocket, like what kind of mindset do you have? Like what where do you get the strength to go through with this kind of project because nobody has like the confidence to go through with it other than you. And he said something along the lines of he doesn't think about the mindset. He just says, we are going to do this and we will see this through. And there's no quitting. There's no giving up. It's just we're going to do it. Like it's inevitable. We're going to do it. There is no such thing as impossible. Everything is possible if you can do it. Like if you can put the strength of will behind it, you can find the way.
Yeah, I mean, just look at some of the things that he's done, right? Other people like him. This guy launched a rocket into space, and when it came down, he caught it on chopsticks.
Yeah.
It's like the size of a multi-story building. He just caught it on chopsticks. Like back in the '60s when they first landed on the moon, the technology was bare bones. I have more technology in my phone than they had in the entire Apollo space program
Yeah,
times a
yeah.
thousand. They they were like, okay, we're gonna go to the moon. They put these guys in a little tin can with some air, put them on a giant bomb, and just launched these guys into space. Didn't know if they were gonna come back. Didn't know if it was gonna work, and they did it. And it's like it just kind of blows your mind. This is when computers took up entire rooms, bro.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. One of the first computers was like
Segregation was still a thing.
the entire size of like a 10-story building was like one computer.
It's like I saw this meme, and it was people using computers in 1950. It's like this giant house-sized computer. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, I will use this to calculate the trajectory of the space mission. It's like modern day humans with their computer. It's this little guy on his phone. I'm gonna go watch some online.
Yeah, yeah, I do.
You have a computer in your hand, more computing power than what sent people to the moon, and
Yeah.
you're gonna go on.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just gotta decide that you're gonna do something, and then you just gotta do it.
You got well that's something like I heard like recently. It's like most people, when when it's kind of like the Christmas season or whatever. So it's like every time like the New Year comes around, there's all of these people like saying, "Oh, I have a New Year's resolution. I'm gonna go to the gym," and like 1 month later they just quit because it's too hard or whatever. It's
Yeah, I was in the gym earlier,
yeah.
and I was like, damn, this is like the 1 week where nobody's at the gym. Everyone's taking days off because it's the holiday season, and the January crowd hasn't rolled in yet.
Yeah, and it's like uh those like there's a certain kind of person that is going to set their own goals like that, and they're not going to achieve anything because it's like vague. It's not detailed. It's not a movie in their brain that actually like makes them like jump up and down and fucking move and work out. Just be active because it gives them so much energy to like you can write something down on a piece of paper, and when you think about it, it plays like a mini movie in your mind. It's very much tied to copywriting, actually. Um, that's basically what you do for like a target market. That's what you want to do, and but you can also do it for yourself. So what happens is if you play that mini movie, you can like summon energy out of like thin air.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because it all comes down to just doing things and seeing results. That's it.
Yeah,
Like, if you do more, you're gonna get more. It's pretty basic. If someone writes down their goals and then weeks go by and every single day they say, oh yeah, I'll do that tomorrow, day after day after day, oh, I'll do that tomorrow, that's something I'll do later, it just gets pushed off into
yeah,
infinity until you're there the next Christmas and you're like, damn, what did I do this year again? I can't remember half of it.
bad,
What happened?
bad, my friend, bad. I
And
mean, it's
next
like,
thing you know,
yeah, go on.
I mean, I was just gonna say, like, next thing you know, you're the average American, right? You're
Oh yeah,
white, you're $50,000 in debt. The average American has a negative net worth. You're terribly unhealthy. You work a job you don't like, and you're like, damn, what did I do with my whole life? I was just scrolling on TikTok, you know?
like sometimes I feel like the simple cure to that is like just writing your goals like every day, like consistently, like check in, like you can even like I saw recently you can like print out a whole calendar of the entire year, and you can like at the end of each day you can cross off like one day. Like, have you completed XYZ today? Cross off. Have I not crossed? Like, if you haven't crossed it off, then do not. And at the end of the year, you're gonna say like all of the like hexes or like crosses or whatever of the days that you actually worked or like actually moved forward, and you're gonna be like, okay, well, if everything is like crossed off, then I've made progress. If nothing is crossed off, like what are you doing? Like so many
Yeah,
people are just not like paying attention to like the details, like the small things are what matter the most. Like some people don't like cleaning their apartment or cleaning their house, and after that they just get lazier and lazier, and it's just like a downward spiral, right? It's like paying attention to the small things when you're practicing like a martial art, learning the basics better than everybody else is going to get you further than anything, like than just practicing like um I think Bruce Lee said this. Like he would be more scared of like somebody who trains like one punch 10,000 times rather than somebody who like tried 10,000 things once.
yeah, I exactly that first thing that you said about the yearly calendar. Each day you mark it off, yes or no. I saw something like that, and it was the amount of weeks in your life,
Yeah, yeah,
and it seems like a lot, right? Even for young people like us, I'm like, oh yeah, I have 60 years left if I have a good life, if I don't get hit by a bus. But when you have like a sheet of paper that has a square for every single week of your life, and you start crossing each week off, within a couple weeks, you're like, damn, I really don't live that long.
yeah.
And then you're like, well, I just wasted my life. I'm already like a third
Yeah,
of my
that's
life.
crazy, dude. Like yeah, just having that in like in the background or like on your oops, on your wall, like in your room, like it just feels uh enlightening to look at it. It's like haven't like have you like ever heard like when the people went to space and they just looked down at the Earth, they just had like a complete mind shift where they'll be like, okay, we need to do something. Like we can't just sit around here.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah, I've seen those.
it's like that kind of thing. Like that is gonna happen definitely. I feel like if like the cruel, harsh reality is like in your face. Um, I feel like it's gonna change you as a human being on a much deeper level instead of just doing the same old, and doing nothing. Like doing nothing. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And it's like when you actually think about this shit, and it's like, whoa. Number one, I don't have that much to live. I've already lived a big percentage of it, and most days I just
yeah,
scroll on social media, go to work, and then go to sleep. And then, like the thing you said before about when people go up to space, they have like this big
yeah,
realization. I honestly think that SpaceX, every time like a new leader is elected, they should fly him up to space so that they can look at the Earth for like 5 minutes and then bring him back down. Because I've heard it makes you really think like, damn, we're just this one tiny speck.
yeah.
Like, why are we all fighting each other? You know?
That's not just a bad idea, honestly. Like that's pretty good. If every leader was like taking into account the human race for their decisions instead of themselves, I feel like that would like move like society slightly more forward.
Yeah, I feel like war is not necessarily all terrible, right? You can have some wars that are justified, like World War II, right?
Oh yeah,
Where this crazy guy just wants to take over the entire world, just invade everybody. It's like, okay, yeah, do what you can to stop him.
yeah,
But most wars are just for money,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
the I don't know how much you know about this, but the war in Afghanistan
yeah,
that the U.S. fought over the past 20 years of constant occupation, while the vice president was the owner of one of the biggest contracting companies in the world that sold military equipment. George Bush, his vice president, Dick Cheney, he owned this crazy military contracting company got all of these no bid contracts and made billions off of all of these Americans being sent off to fight these terrorists in huts. And it's like, especially with the Ukraine,
Yeah.
it's it's like a meat grinder that just kills people. And BlackRock, let's take BlackRock as an example. They own tons of contracting companies. They have really big shares in like Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, the guys that make the missiles. So BlackRock makes money when they shoot missiles into Russia,
Yeah.
right? But then about a year ago, I'm not sure the exact date, BlackRock won the contract to rebuild Ukraine. So they're making money when they blow up the buildings, and they make money when they rebuild them.
Okay,
It
yeah.
doesn't seem like a very good system.
Yeah, like whatchamacallit? I don't remember like well I do remember, but it's like somebody said if you really like dull it down for like a dumb person to understand, who wants to make like who makes money from war? Rich people or poor people?
Always rich people, bro.
Right.
Poor people
So
don't make money.
who wants to have like who wants there to be more wars? Rich people or poor people?
Rich people, they make more money.
Right. So who is most advantaged by there having a war? Rich people or poor people?
Rich people.
Right. So now we understand why most wars happen and who is like instigating, propagating them today. I mean, like,
And it's not even for like a good like there's not even an excuse of a good reason.
it's just money.
Like yeah, in the past it was like
Let's
you have to
blow these
conquer
people
so that
up
you can
and
defend
get
your
money. It's like,
bloodline.
okay.
Yeah. It was like we gotta conquer, we gotta get new lands, new farmlands, new citizens. And then it was like, okay, we gotta stop Hitler. And then, okay, you guys go fight terrorists because some Pakistani guys bombed the Twin Towers, based out of. Okay, okay, so hear me out, right? It was these Pakistani guys called Al Qaeda that flew the planes into the Twin
Yeah,
Towers.
yeah.
They were based out of Pakistan at the time. So the US was like, hey, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna invade Afghanistan and Iraq. Iraq was not involved at all. These guys in Pakistan, Pakistani guys, blew up the Twin Towers. Okay, let's invade Iraq and Afghanistan. It doesn't make any sense. There's not even an excuse.
Yeah, it's just I feel like it's just like most of it is very like shadow wars. Like the motive
Yeah,
is not like it's not like fighting the forces of evil. It's like a lot of people have been conditioned into believing that oh people from the Middle East bad, so we send military, it's fine. It's like
exactly.
not that's not exactly what's happening. Like most of the wars going
And then
on
all you have
there
to do is think about it
are
for
just
like a second,
money.
you
Like
know?
it's not that
Like
great.
the invasion of Iraq
Yeah.
in 2003. I actually know a lot of people that fought. My uncle, a few of the guys I know from church, and it really messed them up, like to this
Yeah.
day. And the excuse for that war was okay, Iraq has all of these nuclear bombs, they have weapons of mass destruction. Okay, we should invade them. But if you just think about that for 1 second, you realize okay, there's a country that allegedly has nukes. If we attack them, they have nukes.